Hello folks, just on the off chance I'm actually live, I'm actually just checking for that at the moment to make sure. It seems that I am. And muted. Okay, let me just pop out my chat. Live chat. Okay. Hey all, as always, in the chat. If you're present, please do kindly make yourself known. And I am just getting my shit together. I do apologize. Let me just throw my face up. Hi, I'm here, I swear. Just getting a few last minute touches done. And, as always, I have to do the very rapid shill myself thing. I will kindly ask you all as well to shill not just my podcast, but the Rumble link here below. I want to reach 100 subscribers. Excuse me, I've got a bit of an itch. Just got out of the shower a little while ago. My skin's a bit dry. I really ought to start moisturizing. But anyway, oh goodness, now I've lost the thread of what I was doing. Okay, so what I really want to do is get my Rumble account to 100 subscribers as fast as possible, because if you've seen today's Rumble video, well, let's just say it's not the most pleasant thing I've ever done. I'm quite unhappy with what was said. I am actually posting that in the chat right now. As you can see, it says very clearly what it says. But just open all of those, close that. Okay, now I'm an idiot. I actually went and closed my YouTube. I'll get there, I swear. Hi, Kingdom. It's good to see you. As usual, I'm just, fumbling towards a good level of... oh, I don't have to tweet this out. That's good. I can skip Twitter. Just fumbling through the shilling here at the moment. And Control A, Control C. Partly. I like the Gadsden flag in the background. Oh, thank you. And good morning, Stormy. How you doing? I'm just getting all the shilling done, and was just saying how I would appreciate very much if everyone would kindly shill out my, not just this stream, but my, oh, let me move my finger, my Rumble link as well, because if I can get my Rumble link, or my Rumble account rather, to 100 high prime, if I can get my Rumble up to 100 subs, and I'd like to do that as rapidly as possible, because that will give me the ability to live stream on Rumble. The link that is in... Goodness, excuse me. Just got out of the shower and I haven't done quite all the primp. Student of History is here. Hi, student. Trump is, in fact, back on Twitter with 83 million already, including myself. I absolutely followed him as soon as I saw it. Monkey, you have missed nothing yet. I am in the middle of shilling clumsily. So, what I'm hoping is everyone will kindly shill out this stream, which I do appreciate, and what I will more appreciate is if you shill out the Rumble link. If I can get... Blank thumbnail. What? Should be this thumb. That's not right. Get that posted. Give me just a second to get the last of the shilling before Discord done, and that will be the most distracting stuff out of the way. And I will be right with you guys. As I'm trying to get out, I want to get my Rumble to 100 subs so I can live stream there, because if you look in the chat, the link that I posted immediately after my Hail All message is to my Rumble video from this morning, which is dealing with the, and thank the Critical Drinker for this, the unspecified virus of unspecified origin. And it will be very clear what I think of the CCP from my thumbnail. If Sasquatch is right, and there is... Oh, so it just blanked the thumbnail? Lovely. Good to know. I'm going to leave that up. But If it's a blank thumbnail, I'm fine with that for the moment. Let me just get some quick shilling done on Discord, and I will be right with you folks. And I do appreciate everyone who's popped in. I'd also like to say again, happy birthday, Monkey. I hope you had a good night. I hope your bum is still well, mostly intact. If it's not completely intact, that's a sign of a good evening. Let's see. Okay, you guys are all just chatting. Awesome. Talk amongst yourselves for a minute. That one's done. Yes, the very distracted Jorj is in fact on screen at the moment. I'm very surprised that it would be a blank thumbnail, but I'm not that shocked. Get that posted out here now, and I'm done in just a few seconds. If anyone is counting, by the way, I think I'm well over 12 Discords that I shill in. And I do try to be active in all of them. Well, with the exception of my own. But my own is, at the moment, simply used for posting archived links of my own stuff. Okay, that's done. Now, if I close this, do I lose chat? No. Excellent. Okay. So, apparently, let me just scroll back through chat and say hi to everybody. Kingdom I got, Stormy I got, Primed I got, Student, hi. Monkey I got, Sasquatch I got, Okay, I haven't missed anybody. Excellent. Good morning, folks. We're going to do a little bit of a news roundup today about things that are trending in Canada. Two of which are my personal favorite hashtags. That will be hashtag anti-white and hashtag Trudeau. Oh, no, that's the wrong one, but we'll come back to that. The other one is, of course, we'll leave that up for a moment while I cough. Good morning, Bezic and Holly. Nice to see you guys. So yeah, actually it was Bezic who gave me the impetus to really start pushing the Rumble thing. Let me just bring my face back. Okay, so here's what happened. Bezic this morning, or possibly later last night or while I was sleeping, had posted a link about the College of Physicians and Surgeons of Ontario. Let me see. Reluctance to undergo a medical procedure that has become extremely popular in the last year or so for unspecified reasons. People who are hesitant to undergo this particular procedure are potentially mentally unwell. Yeah. I'm sure all of you guys have cottoned on to what I'm talking about. And my feeling is that you should refuse medication, but you should say, yes, I would very much like to talk to a therapist. And then, tell the therapist exactly why you don't want to take that particular medical procedure. And make it very clear to them that you do not have trypanophobia, which is the fear of needles. Kingdom, do you agree that in a war with China, the U.S. will win? It really depends, because at the moment, the U.S. is kind of trapped between a drug dealer and an untrustworthy ally. And that's really all I can say. Damn, I've got an eyelash in my eye or something. I'm just going to have to keep that closed for a bit and look like a pirate. Yar. Oh yeah, no, that's got to stay closed. Well, that completely fucked my How does Fury do this, right? He turns his head. Yeah. Okay. It doesn't allow... Okay, yeah. Sasquatch letting me know about the references I couldn't make. Oh, and sometimes it takes time to show up. Yeah, I had only just uploaded the thumbnail pretty much just before I went live. Student of History says, Monkey, may your liver never be thirsty and your butthole be forever intact. What's that resolution? What do you mean? Is my resolution bad on my camera? Shouldn't be. Let me see here. Properties. Okay, let me try 1920 by 1080 and see how that looks. Oh, that's a little larger than I wanted. Close. Holy merciful jeez. Okay, let's unlock that and transform it fit to screen. Okay. And great, now I'm going to have to mess with all my settings. Thanks a lot. On the upside, I can now make my Rumble link much bigger. Get over there. You can go a little bigger. That'll do. Okay. Yeah, that was a bit of a moment, wasn't it? Okay. Also, I want to know who gave me the hard time about my resolution. Oh, Bezic. Yeah, I should have known. Yeah, the guy who never shows his own fucking face on camera. Now everybody can enjoy the gleam of my wonderful dome. Okay. Well, that's a good way to kill 15 minutes. Let's get into this. Okay. So, clearly, I have a very high opinion of Communist China, especially their government. I don't know if you guys are even seeing this on YouTube. I certainly hope you are. Live streaming via potato. And Holly says the resolution is fine. Yeah, okay. Anyway, that's should be sorted. You guys should be able to see my face nice and clearly. I will be mucking with this now that I've realized that resolution was so bad. I think something got reset somewhere in the Streamlabs update. Anyway, let's move on to the very first of two wonderful, wonderful hashtags. So, the first hashtag is hashtag anti-white, which is now trending. Let's have a look at some of these pictures. Why, whatever could the implication be here? Whatever could they be trying to imply here? That white couples are racists? Yeah, that's interesting. Let's have another look at this one. What are we looking at here? Happy black woman. Well, what's wrong with a happy black woman? Every woman should be happy. Yeah. Yeah, liberal white people are a fucking cancer. Sorry, but it is what it is. Carl Schmidt. American society in 2022 is an anti-white society. White people, particularly white men, face systemic oppression on a daily basis. Our culture is foreign and hostile. Our government and institutions actively demote our standing. Our land is invaded. There will be a reaction. Well, yes, and as part of that reaction, I'm quite happy to say that I stand firmly on the side of white positivity. Simply put, we need to alter the... Well, yeah, I don't trust you because you don't like poutine. That's a really big thing with me. The multitude of issues I have as a boomer are extreme. But anyway, just to... Oh, you can't hear me, Bezic? I've probably been mumbling a little bit, so I do apologize. Hello, Christopher. It's good to see my Belgian friends here. What's poutine? Damn it! No, look. Let me get through the white positivity thing, and then I'll deal with chat. Simply put, we need to reverse the outgroup preference in white society, in Western society. We have made a mistake in favoring people who are not us over ourselves. It's kind of like that inverted golden rule video that I made recently. You should do unto others as you would have them do unto you. but you should also do unto yourself as you would want others to do unto you. And if you're going to favor the other over yourself, you are betraying your own and yourself. So, yes, white positivity as a movement is not about being against another race. It's about acting in promotion of our own kind, of Western kind, of white men, of whatever particular group you want to emphasize. I tend to look at it as a cultural issue, that Western society has developed an out-group preference that must be, at the very least, restrained, preferably removed. Student of history, since you did ask what poutine is, basically poutine is French fries with, some people will use gravy. There is a particular poutine sauce. Personally, I prefer beef gravy or moose gravy if I can get it, and cheese curds. So you take your fries, lay them down, excuse me, sprinkle cheese curds, and then you pour your gravy over the top of that. I like it with a fair amount of pepper and vinegar. Other people have different choices. Belgian fries. Oh, sorry, Christopher. Yes, Belgian fries. Friet. Let me see. Live streaming via potato. Yeah, I can't always... I mean, I'm boomer as hell, guys. You know this. Bezic, let me know if the volume's gotten any better. I have spoken up, so I have a constant thing in my throat. And the fan is going rather savage at the moment because I have so many tabs open. One of my focuses right now is saving for a better system. I want to get a PC so that when I have a fan that makes noise, it's on the floor. Okay. Bezic says he might have to rebuild my OBS. I don't use OBS. I'm using Streamlabs. Let's see. So poutine has been explained. Kingdom of Vinland. I stand on the side of white positivity. I'm not promoting violence, but I fear a violent reaction from fed-up whites is inevitable. That's one of the things we have to, as white positive people, that's one of the things we have to try to prevent, is violence. Violence, how to put it? Violence is not the only solution, but it is a solution. But violence should always be the last resort of civilized people. Sasquatch said I was triggered about poutine. Stormy Eyes Moose Gravy, yeah. Newfoundlander girl knows about moose gravy. Let's see. Student of history, French fries with cheese curds and gravy. Bezic said he couldn't... Oh, okay, somebody else got it. Bezic says he can't really hear shit. You know, dude, if I get any louder, I'm going to be shouting at the microphone, so I don't want to push it too hard. Streamlabs is OBS. Okay, I didn't know that. See? Boomer. Let's see here. Sasquatch. One of those Zelensky simps. What did Sasquatch say? Imagine my shock. Okay. I'm not quite sure where Monkey is getting the Zelensky simp thing for Sasquatch. I don't know if we've ever even discussed Russia, Ukraine, but anyway, moving along. Christopher says, I don't know if it's your sound he's complaining about, might be your visual setup. Well, he was complaining about the resolution on my camera, but Sasquatch says, never talk about thing and throat live. Oh, okay. Both, but he really can't hear shit. Okay. Is the camera still fucked? Because if it is, let me know. If you have an idea for what I can do for sound, again, let me know. Don't forget. Sasquatch threw up a good point. I'll get to that in just a second. And I do kind of want to run through this a little bit quick with that, the second hashtag I want to bring up here, which is that one. But, oh, I see. Yeah, that's, your, oh, God. My fucking chat. Oh, really? The camera was the only not fucked thing. Then what'd you go on about resolution for? Ugh. Anyway, gain, compression, and noise gate is all messed up. Okay, I will look at that after. Let me make a note. Gain, compression, noise gate. Okay. Okay, now let's go to the second lovely hashtag that I want to cover here. Hashtag Trudeau is the new Hitler was trending very recently. I won't make any comments about certain things, especially this, because this pisses me off to no end as well. It's nice to see Jordan Peterson continues to trend. Morgan Freeman is trending. I can't imagine why. That's an ad. We'll just roll past that. Okay, you're a special kind of cheddarhead, aren't you? So, Trudeau is the new Hitler for forcing a medical product on Canadians that can cause severe bodily harm. Now, I will point this out, YouTube. I am reading tweets. I am not offering my opinion. So if there is a manual reviewer following this, I want you to be aware that I am not stating my own opinion. Whether I agree with what this person is saying or not, I am not stating my own opinion here. So Trudeau is the new Hitler for forcing a medical product on Canadians that can cause severe bodily harm, all while dehumanizing people into vermin and discriminating against millions of people for not taking it. People who dehumanize and segregate are always on the wrong side of history. And they talk about the Gesundheit Pass. Yeah. That's an interesting outfit, Joe. Yeah. Yeah. Oops. Let's just go back. That was an accidental click. I do apologize. I do happen to disagree with this idea for a simple reason. Trudeau is most definitely not the new Hitler. Really, I swear. I mean, you know, like, seriously, guys. Yeah, by the way, that's Castro. Yeah, yeah, no similarity at all. Anyway, let's move away from that. Throw that back up for a minute just to piss off YouTube. Stormy says sound and image is good there. Okay. Visual setup is very simplistic and thick design-wise. Well, you know, I am kind of thick, so. You look fine. Sound like we're in another room. We like to see you flounder for balance. Oh, yeah. You were talking about the browser. Well, let me have a look at the settings on my browser here. What's this one? No, I don't need rewards. Thanks, Brave. Yeah, no. We're going to say screw that for today. But I will check. I suspect, actually, that's a screen share, so it may be that what you're getting is the really fucked old monitor that I'm using. The beacon has been lit. Gondor calls for aid. Hey! And yeah, personally, I don't know why Morgan Freeman would be trending. So, the other story I want to cover today is this one. That Xi Jinping was lecturing Trudeau over alleged leaks. Yep, hot mic moment. We're not going to watch any videos because I'm sure CNN is a bunch of copyright-chasing bastards. But he was filmed chiding his Canadian counterpart, Trudeau, over what he described as leaked discussions. Everything we've discussed has been leaked to the papers, and that is not appropriate. And that was not how the conversation was conducted. If there was sincerity on your part, then we shall conduct our discussion with an attitude of mutual respect. Otherwise, there might be unpredictable consequences. I really need to learn how to swear in Mandarin. Interesting. He only got to the part about sincerity before Trudeau cut him off. Does anyone else think that might mean that Trudeau speaks Mandarin? And doesn't want anybody to know it, so he didn't actually speak it back to Xi? Oh, this is cute. In Canada, we believe in a free and open and frank dialogue. Really? Really? Really, Justin? Free, except where views are unacceptable. Open, except where you pass bills telling us what we're allowed to say and what we're not allowed to say. And frank. Yeah, I'm very certain that if you got the frank opinions of most Canadians, you would crumble like a little cookie. Tristan is helping me out by swearing in Mandarin. Oh dear, oh dear. And yeah, like Base Tape says, you don't disrespect your boss like that. Yeah. Let's see. Let's create the conditions first. Yeah. Rare glimpse of how Xi... Now, the Chinese leader walks away, shakes Trudeau's hand and walks away. What they don't mention here is that Trudeau basically fumbles around and wanders off like a spanked little child. Which, you know, considering... let me just... this one. Yeah, okay, we'll put that story back up for a second. And bring this one up. If I can find it in a hurry. Let's see if this is the one I'm looking for. No. Okay, but this will do for illustrative purposes. So, what you see here is the first or second time that Trudeau and Trump met. And Trump at this point was known for pulling people in when he shook their hands. And Trudeau, not being unsavvy, had the good sense to put his hand on Donald's arm to kind of maintain a little distance. So if he's going to be this kind of forceful with the most powerful man in the world, why is he essentially tucking his tail and staring at his shuffling feet for Xi Jinping? Doesn't really make a lot of sense. Let me see. Now, I did want to explore that. No, not that one. Where are you? There we are. I do want to explore that search string just a little more. Trudeau was right to confront Xi over... Yeah, but he didn't actually confront him. This was very clearly, body language-wise, Xi going, no, you're going to listen to what I have to say, and then I'm going to walk the fuck away from you. And yeah, I do realize my fan just started making a lot more noise. Yes, Monkey, Trump is in fact back on Twitter. Oh, I see. Sasquatch is mentioning that he watched Just Enough Firefly, which of course got my attention because I love that show. And yeah, he had used the expression paper dragon. Yeah. Kingdom says he hopes Texas secedes. I have issues with that. Sasquatch says he has difficulties trusting billionaires. I can understand that. My personal thinking is that most of what Trump did to make or acquire his billions is public knowledge. Not so for many politicians. Student history says when Daddy threatens to get the belt, you do everything to apologize. Yeah. So, Xi scolds Trudeau. Xi scolds Trudeau. Xi publicly rebukes Trudeau. Xi confronts Trudeau. Xi confronts Trudeau. Xi confronts Trudeau. Yet somehow, John Ivison at the National Post says that Trudeau was right to confront Xi over electoral interference, but he did it for the wrong reasons. Trudeau sat on evidence that China meddled in our 2019 election. Yeah. Yeah. There aren't enough fuck yous in the world for Trudeau at this point. I did, in fact, see your China is a paper dragon comment, Kingdom. And yes, it is, but kind of avoid certain statements on this. Just a little bit. Oh, here's something interesting. I suppose. Apparently, ideal penis size is on the rise in fine art. For those of you who aren't aware of it, the quote-unquote tiny penises on a lot of the ancient statuary are indicative of the fact that the ancient Romans believed that a very large penis was a sign that you are a barbarian. That's interesting. I'm guessing that was held, Earl. Hi, by the way. I'm guessing your comment was held because it had the F word in it. But I fully agree with your comment. Let's see here. What else have we got? Okay, yeah, I'll show you guys this cartoon. Now, one thing I will point out, my thinking is that I'm not rising to that bait, monkey, and that's the closest to a penis pun I'm going to make today. But my thinking is that what she considers to be a leak is probably Trudeau simply doing what he actually is supposed to do as Prime Minister and telling people what he's doing on their behalf. Violence. Hi, Violence. How you doing? She made paprika scrambled eggs. Excellent. I'll be over for some later. I wish. But, oh, I see. Just one second here. Let's just have a look at this particular little bit. At these multilateral affairs, and I'll start here, meetings are generally recognized as having taken place and a mutually agreed upon, typically anodyne, which means boneless, essentially, readout is issued of the topics discussed. In the absence of such an agreement, the meeting is not considered to have taken place and therefore should not be the subject of a briefing to the media, as happened in this case. In other words, Trudeau walked out of the meeting and said what they talked about. Well, this is the G20, is it not? Yes. It's the G20 in Bali. This is a public event. My apologies. This is Medger has pointed out that he's making Caesar salad. Yes, all the guys in chat are barbarians. Yes, yes. We all have giant... Anyway. Yeah. Oh, and apparently this was the opinion of a senior diplomat with decades of experience and, incidentally, no great love for the CCP. Let's see. Yeah, when she rebuked Trudeau saying it was not appropriate that the conversation had been leaked, the problem is that she was talking out of his ass. The conversation was not leaked. There was no agreed upon secrecy. That's all. Yeah. Now, granted, this paper, like every other media outlet in Canada that takes money from the Trudeau government, definitely sucks the Trudeau penis, but yeah. I highly doubt the word naive was what she said. But anyway, let's just have a look at what else I have on the docket here. Oh, I was going to save this one for Thursday, but I'll bring it up today because it's interesting. So I will put that one there, because that's the archived version, and I will bring this one up. That should be the non-archived version. There we go. So the Daily Mail has... oh dear, what's going on there? Ah, okay. What we will do, because that's being a dick, is I will show you the archived version instead. So the Daily Mail, yes, Bezic will be somewhat surprised by this. The Daily Mail has actually pointed out how climate change is, well, questionable at best. The Earth can regulate its temperature over hundreds of thousands of years to stay in a habitable range, as breakdown of silicate rocks takes carbon from the atmosphere and stores it in ocean sediment. The Earth can stabilize its own temperature over hundreds of thousands of years. Findings are based on a study of data that record fluctuations in average global temperatures for the last 66 million years. Yet we have to be concerned about, the temperature change over 100 years. Bugger off, pop-ups. You have a planet, a scientist involved in the study said, you have a planet whose climate was subjected to so many dramatic external changes. Why did life survive all this time? That's a good question, isn't it? But apparently, Earth has a stabilizing feedback mechanism that's able to keep the climate pendulum from swinging too far in either direction across long time scales. But of course, they'll find a way to say that humans are somehow throwing that pendulum off. The findings, published on Wednesday in the journal Science Advances, are based on a study of paleoclimate data that record fluctuations in average global temperature of the last 66 million years. So researchers applied a mathematical analysis to determine if the data revealed any patterns that would show a stabilizing phenomena to keep global temperatures in line on a very long time scale. They found that there seems to be a consistent pattern whereby the planet's temperature swings get dampened over the course of hundreds of thousands of years. That duration is similar to the timescales over which silicate weathering is thought to act. Yeah. So let's just have a quick scan here. Now, here's a great one. On one hand, it's good because we know that today's global warming will eventually be cancelled out through this stabilizing feedback. On the other hand, it will take hundreds of thousands of years to happen. Are you sure? And not fast enough to solve our present-day issues. It's interesting that they use this particular picture, because that's a flooded area from a cyclone. Yeah. Look what happens when you build a road in a floodplain. Yeah. Okay. So that's going to be it for the stories today, I think. Let's see. Not a giant barbarian, just a fair bit above average. It's all those testicles, you see. But anyway, just sipping through here. Violence says, of course, the Earth can self-regulate. It's not a static system. Things always change. Exactly. That's why there aren't dinosaurs. Or at least one of the reasons there aren't dinosaurs. Let's see. Student History says, YouTube would like to point out that climate change is a settled fact that will bring about the en masse destruction of life itself. Then why are we worried? Nothing we can do anywhere. Weren't we all supposed to be underwater 10 years ago, according to Al fucking Gore? Bill Gore, Al Gates, whatever his name is. Tristan says, this all sounds correct. My bachelor's was in system and control engineering, and the plant on Earth are acting as a feedback mechanism holding the temperature in the right zone for plants. There's that. There's also a massive number of interconnected systems. And the average Bezik's word for them is envirotard, which I like. I like eco-terrorist. But the average one of those people will say things like, well, we've obviously thrown the Earth into chaos. Why? Because we've been making changes over 100 years? No. Look at the... And of course, I like how we have to completely stop all of our civilization and technological uses. When all we had to do in the 80s was stop using one type of chemical. And hey, the ozone layer closed in 20 years. Yeah. And that's assuming that the CFCs were actually responsible for that whole opening in the first place. Let's see. human industry, bad stuff is propaganda. The only real problem is trash pollution. Yes, and I am all for cutting down waste. I think I won't say a statistic. I was thinking 90%, but that's probably wrong. But I know that the vast majority of plastic products aren't recyclable. But some plastic is recyclable. So why don't we make more stuff with recyclable plastic? Yeah. Here's another thought. Instead of packaging every fucking beverage in plastic, why don't we go back to using glass? Glass, actually, is recyclable. Almost ad infinitum. Let's see. A stable feedback system can still be disrupted by enough force. Yes, but that doesn't necessarily mean that humanity is that force. I think we would have to work a lot harder than we currently are to really throw the Earth into chaos on a system-wide basis. Violence is Life says deforestation is also a big problem. Kind of. And in some ways, yes. Personally, I am a big fan of forests. Go figure, I make things out of wood. That said, there are parts of the Sahara that are becoming greener. There are parts of the planet that are greening that have never been green before. At least as far as we know. And it looks, based on scientific studies, that the increased CO2 in the atmosphere since the Industrial Revolution is actually what's doing that. Is actually what's allowing that, which makes sense. CO2 is plant food. This is major recycling is a big con, he thinks. Again, I'm kind of up in the air about it. In some ways, yeah, because if you've got this bottle that can't actually be recycled, but you can return it for a recycling deposit, that doesn't actually solve the problem. If, however, you can take this bottle, chop it into tiny, tiny bits, melt it, reform it, and make another bottle like this, or for the same purpose, then that is actually recycling. Technically, it's reusing, but my biggest issue is that everything, and this is from like a cord that was inside a plastic container, that was inside another plastic container. Things like this are unnecessary. You don't need that kind of overuse of plastic. Donuts do not need to be individually wrapped, for example. You could use wax paper between donuts as easily as you could between burgers. Get the item that cuts bottles into string. That shit is super durable. Yeah, like, reuse is always a better choice, in my opinion. Let's see here. Student history says life's existence is fucking chaos. It's always been chaos. It's still chaos. Might as well be angry about the sun rising in the east. Well, if everything was chaos, why does the sun rise in the east? I mean, yeah, a lot of what happens is relatively random. But one of the great things about being a person is that we have the ability to... How was it phrased? We have the ability to cause the arising of order from chaos. The climate alarmist cult's Violence is Life. The climate alarmist cult is a bunch of spoiled rich kids who have lived their whole lives in controlled air conditioning. I will absolutely give you that. Not only that, but those who are pushing the climate agenda the most, the elites, are the people who are also buying seaside property. Well, if the climate's going to hell and the water levels are going to rise, why would you make such a bad investment? I mean, these are the people who are supposed to be smart with their money. Let's see. This is Medger says he also started bringing milk to work with him in a glass bottle a while back. I recommend, if you're using clear glass, to find something that will cover it to keep the light from getting in. Light on milk has a similar effect as light on beer. It will degrade it, where with beer you'll get a skunky stink and it kind of puts the beer off. With milk it tends to suck a lot of the nutrition out of it. Student of history says the Sahara was a verdant rainforest approximately 11,000 years ago. And yeah, it very well may have been. Many things go in cycles. As student of history points out, that we're in the Goldilocks zone, which is also true. And the thing is, you have to realize where the Earth orbits, there's actually a wobble. There's not just a wobble in our axis. There's a wobble in the orbit, so we go kind of back and forth. If you haven't seen it, go look up... Oh my... I think it's the helical model of the solar system. Yes. Okay, just 1 second. If you haven't seen this, and this is absolutely beautiful, I'm going to have to leave it on mute, but I will let it play. That should be this one? Yes. The old... put that in theater mode. Can you guys see that a bit better? Yeah. So this is the old heliocentric model. And it's not all that boring, but it is inaccurate. And this model is actually what I'm talking about. If you've ever thrown a coin into one of those, the spinning vortex sort of thing, that's basically what our solar system does, is this. Can I full screen that and get that for you guys? No. Okay, let me just kill that again. But this gives you a very good idea of how our solar system actually moves through the galaxy and the universe. So all this rotation is basically all the planets falling into the sun. And over a very massive, massive time scale, and let me just pause that. Over a massive, massive time scale, what happens is you will get that rotation, which will eventually, yes, spiral in. Or perhaps before that happens, the sun will expand and consume us. Who knows? I'm not 100% sure. And I'm no astrophysicist, so I couldn't tell you. But what happens with those charity things, when you drop your coin into the slot and it goes around and around and around, at certain points you notice that it goes into an elliptical shape and then goes sometimes back to a more round and then more elliptical and closer and further and closer and further. That sort of movement is why we have some changes to our climate year to year. El Nino, El Nina, some of that is the result of that sort of movement in the orbital track. Based Ape says, we aren't allowed glass here in Scotland. People get drunk and stabby too often. Well, that's a personal problem. Yeah. Yeah, and I do understand. I mean, I remember I've watched a few different videos about glassing. I think pinting was another one that it was called, where people will smash each other in the face with pints. This is part of the reason that most pint glasses all over the world now are made with tempered glass. Sasquatch says nuclear power is really the only answer. It's not necessarily the only answer, but at this point, it's the fucking best one. Like, if you want to actually power everything, you're going to have to go nuclear, or we're going to have to regress in a lifestyle fashion, which appears to be what the elites want. But who knows? Hang on 1 second. I'm online.
Okay, I'll need a hand in that.
Anyway, forgiving the interruption. Let's see, looking through... student of history may very well have a good point. Let me see. Yes, Sasquatch said nuclear power is really the only answer. Yeah, it's the only thing that's going to power our lifestyle as it is currently without change, and will give us the ability to expand it. Violence points out the time and location of sunrise changes every day, which is also true, but it does move in a cycle. It will move this way and then back. Solstices and equinoxes. UCY Beta 1, hi. He says that Obama bought beachfront property. Yes, he did. Earl Testicles, the activists use violence to get attention. Well, it's used... No, absolutely not. As much as my personal instinct when I see someone gluing themselves to a work of art is to go, come here, I rip you off of that. in as violent a manner as possible. While that is my first instinct, my civilized side says, no, that's not a good choice. That said, I still think the full brunt of the law should be brought against these people on a level of destruction of antiquities, which is more than simple vandalism. Let's see, Kingdom of Vinland says, to use a line from one of my favorite sci-fi franchises, all of this has happened before and will happen again. Isn't that Lex? Let's see. If you went back in time, you'd just be in deep space. Well, yeah, here's the thing with one of the biggest issues I have with time travel. If you can move in time, you have to move in space. So you can't just go from St. John's in 2022 back to St. John's in 1906 without having to move vast distances in space. Because the Earth does move. Oh, Battlestar Galactica. Okay, I remember that one now. Lex also talks about how things go in series. I think the Wheel of Time has that as well. It's a fairly common motif. Tristan Armstrong says the sun goes red giant first, so before we fall into it, I assume. Let's see. Kingdom of Vinland says, I think by the time the sun goes red giant mode, either humans will be extinct, or we will be a multiplanetary, if not interstellar species. There's a third option there as well. Well, you did kind of get it. My thinking is not necessarily that we will be extinct, but that we will be evolved into a form that is no longer human. We're talking about, I think, billions of years before the sun goes red giant. Sasquatch says he suspects we are a farm planet for another species. I don't know, because we have a lot of liquid water, and that's one of the rarest things in the universe as far as we can tell. I don't necessarily believe we're a farm planet, but it's, you know, a thought, like Beatles. This is Midger. Humans will be gone long before the Earth starts its final expansion phase, either extinct or out in space. Hopefully. Earl says, I'm not for anything, I'm just there for the violence. Okay, yeah, spectating? Absolutely. People have no fear anymore, so they just do what they want. Yeah, I mean, you guys have seen the footage of the guy welding in, I think it was India somewhere, where he decides to weld, I think it was a fuel tank or some other highly reactive substance, and it ends very badly for him. I'm not saying we need to kill all the stupid people. We need to remove warning labels and let the problem sort itself out. Like the Tide Pod commercial where the mother throws the Tide Pod down on the laundry basket full of clothes on the floor with a toddler. Lady, your kid's not going to make it because you're not taking good care of your kid. Right? This whole clicky top thing, it won't make a difference because she still took it out of the container and dropped it in the basket in front of the kid. Yeah. 5 billion years to red giant sun. And humans have only been around for, I think it's 120,000 years. Yeah, we'll evolve into something else. Hopefully. If we haven't, fried ourselves. Let me see. Looking at the time, 12:26. 12:27. Okay, it actually changed in between me looking at different monitors. Awesome. Alternative avenues. How? Also misspelled my name, but that's okay. What do you mean how? What's the how you're asking for? I can close these. I'm not using these anymore. Give alternative an opportunity to respond here. Also, guys, if you have any questions for me, get them in now. I've got about 3 minutes left, so I'm going to be cutting this a little short. I have a visit to go and do after, and one of my family members needs some help. Kingdom says he's fine with cybernetic augmentations to improve ourselves. Okay, I think you're coming to the same point I would bring up. Same with genetic engineering, but two things I draw the line at. One, consciousness downloading. or one thing you draw the line at is downloading consciousness. Violence says she likes that space physics. Yeah, and that's really a fairly simplified model in terms of the astrophysics of it all. But it is a beautiful model and looks far better than the standard heliocentric one where everything just spins. Yeah, cybernetic augmentations, if you can make them work. Kingdom of Inland says he argues that glasses, hearing aids, or sorry, Violence says that she thinks glasses, hearing aids, and dentures count. I wear glasses, and I'm also currently wearing a brace for my wrist. I don't think I would call these cybernetic augmentations, more aids, or you could almost go as far as to say that a set of glasses are essentially prosthetic eyes. Ow. That gets a little sore after a while. As far as cybernetic augmentations go, I've seen some footage indicative of the fact that you're able to wire a prosthetic arm to a person's nerves so they essentially have something close to a natural interface with them. Let's see. Alternative avenues. How does this remove warning labels and let the problem sort itself out logic apply to national policy toward First Nations and government welfare toward them? And hi, how are you? I think you're trying to conflate two very different issues. The national policy towards First Nations is absolutely asinine. They should be made Canadian citizens and treated with all the rights and obligations that the rest of us have. Government welfare is also a trap, but that's a story for another time, and I'm actually at my mark. Let's see. Sasquatch says he's not a fan of teleportation. Well, why would you want to get into a murder box that copies you? This is Medjur. Just a little bit about the death of the sun and fate of Earth. Kingdom of Vinland says violence. By that logic, I am already augmented because I need glasses. Student of history. My infrared eye will be an aid to assistance to locating enemies in the dark. If you haven't seen it, there's a really funny video. Well, funny and kind of impressive video online of a guy who had lost his eye, I think to cancer, and had replaced it with a flashlight. That was cool. Earl points out mechanical supports. Let's see. Vinland says we should have just annexed the natives outright. Not necessarily. I won't gainsay the past. There's nothing we can do to change it. My feeling now is that they should just be brought into... yeah, oh, that's right. Monkey, you guys covered that on White Pills. So go over to Based Ape Streams. Check out his stream from... was it last week, Monkey? Where he actually showed the guy with the flashlight eye. Sasquatch says he has to go up here interested in another stream. Awesome. You have a good day. This is Medjur. I can't imagine teleportation ever being feasible. Would it even be you who materialized or a copy that is essentially spontaneously born? That's kind of my point with saying why would you want to get into a murder box that copies you? In any case, folks, I am done for the day. I have to go and give one of my family members a hand before I go and do some visiting. Earl says all things shall end and begin again with a new group, Ragnarok. Maybe. Who knows? And it probably won't be us that know. Alternative Avenue says peace and love all. Thanks very much. Okay. So, I hope you all are having a good day. Please share out this stream. Go check out my Rumble. Subscribe if you would be so kind. Once I get to 100 subs there, I can actually start live streaming on Rumble. So I can start to split these live streams, do some YouTube-friendly content, and do some YouTube-unfriendly content on Rumble. Speaking of, if you haven't had a chance, go check out my Rumble. I do a regular Rumble exclusive segment on Fridays now called For Fuck's Sake Friday, where I basically just go off on things. In any case, yeah, as I say, you guys have a good day, keep having good days, and rise again. Until